I want to get my stream set up here. I want to listen to a little bit of there's a guy named Trey Rags who I'm a big fan of his stuff. He just got a tattoo on his face, and at first I didn't like it, but he explains himself, and I accept his explanation. And then also he said a couple things that it made me think about circumcision. This life, living this life, being aware of the mutilation. I don't know if it creates a victim complex, but I will be listening to people give their life stories, their testimonies, and I'll be thinking, do you feel this way about circumcision? Do you know what's the truth about this? But anyway, okay, I want you to hear his explanation of his tattoo, and because he knows people are going to
because it's based on reality. We are back with another reaction to a scary short film. Are y'all proud of me? Like, in the last scary reaction, a nigga like me doesn't lie.
Cap.
It's this thing right here. And if you saw my community post, I asked you guys if you think it was fake or real. This is the only video I will be addressing this in. It's real. Calm down, calm down. I know what you niggas are thinking. I'm probably like, yo, nigga, why would you tattoo your face? I know some people actually care about that and some people actually don't. So I know some of you niggas probably like the tattoo. No, this is the tattoo. Let me give a look at it. I know some of you niggas might like the tattoo. Some of y'all may not. Yo, why would you do that, bro? And the answer is, bro, it's just because I wanted to. That's literally it. It's because I wanted to. I wanted to have a tattoo that I could look in the mirror and just see. And a lot of people may be like, oh, that's stupid, that's dumb or whatever. But I wanted something that symbolized something to me that I look in the mirror and that reminded of the message every single time that I look. This tattoo, it's a key. And what it means to me is creating my own opportunities, not relying on other people to open doors for me, not relying on other people to help me achieve things. I want something done, I gotta get it done myself. And that's what this symbolized to me. I want it on my face. I like the tattoo, so it is what it is. And I just wanted to say, I've seen some comments under the post. I've seen some people that liked this, people that didn't like it. But it's like, man, in your life, you gotta do things that make you happy. I'm saying, like, I'm not trying to get anybody depressed, because I know this topic that I'm about to say, get some people depressed. But listen, one day I'ma die. One day you're gonna die. One day everybody that's on earth right now is not gonna be here no more. And there's gonna be a whole completely different set of people on this earth. Now, when you wanna do something, you just need to do it. Who cares what other people say, what other people may think? Because at the end of the day, you only get one life. Now, if you don't do what you want to do, all them people that told you something was stupid or something was dumb, at the end, none of that is going to matter. I wanted this tattoo. I like it, so I got it. And that's what the tattoo means. And everybody that's here right now, I know this not going to be the most viewed video on my page, so obviously in future videos, people will be like, yo, what's that on your face? Hey, is that real? And such and such. Hey, why you get that? Everybody who's here on this video, respond to their comment. What just happened? Oh, my lights. I got these blue lights in the background. I don't know how it's flickering. But anybody that makes a comment asking, everybody that's here right now, this little crew, everybody that's here watching this video, tell them the reason why I got this. Refer back to this video and tell them niggas, because I am not going to answer about it. I want you guys to tell them, because I'm not going to say nothing about it. You feel me? Like, I got to talk to y'all and tell y'all what's going on. We're going to be watching this scary short film. I have nobody to blame but myself. Let's get into this. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't understand why I can't press pause on that. Okay, guys, we're gonna do some research on the Cologne ruling, because the 10-year anniversary is whoa, what's up with my phone? Okay. Am I still streaming? That was weird. So there was a Cologne court ruling against circumcision, and I want to write an article about it because the anniversary is coming up. Jesus, this is a sick platform. Try to find something about this is 2012, back at 2012. Let's listen to this.
Circumcision has become a highly sensitive issue in Germany since June 2012, when a higher regional court in Cologne decided that religious ritual circumcision of boys constituted bodily harm.
See?
Jews and Muslims were outraged, seeing the ruling as an attack on one of the fundamental beliefs of their faith, and making claims that Germany is becoming a radical secular society where there's no room for religion and public life.
The way
my phone's getting hot. I want to stop and rewind and stuff. Did you hear that?
Circumcision has become a highly sensitive issue in Germany since June 2012, when a higher regional court in Cologne decided that religious ritual circumcision of boys constituted bodily harm. Jews and Muslims were outraged, seeing the rule.
Bodily harm, huh? I want to do a rough draft for an article. I need keywords, bodily harm.
As an attack on one of the fundamental beliefs of their faith, and making claims that Germany is becoming a radical secular society where there's no room for religion and public life.
The way that Germany is becoming a secular state is a very religious way. In other words, secularism is a new religion. They are being secular in a very religious way. What they're doing is crusades against religion.
Yes, this is a very radical kind of secularism. I don't want that everybody have to accept the circumcision, but we can tolerate different paradigms in the same society. So we have to tolerate the freedom of.
I like that. Paradigms.
faith and the rituals of the religions in Germany.
A new judicial ruling is the...
We have to but we can tolerate different paradigms in the same society. So we have to tolerate the freedom of faith and the rituals of the religions in Germany.
A new judicial ruling is the latest development in the controversial debate surrounding circumcision. The highest regional court of Hamm, a city in western Germany, has ruled that parents of Hamm
the religions in Germany.
A new judicial ruling is the latest development in the controversial debate surrounding circumcision. The highest regional court of Hamm, a city in western Germany, has ruled that parents need to discuss any impending procedure with children, and that the procedure must be performed according to the standards of medical practice.
It's a covert attack, I would agree. It's getting more and more absurd. For example, when it's when we hear an attack that religious practices are more important to us than children, that is really an attack. We don't do it if it would be harmful.
It's a verbal attack. You are physically attacking children. The criticism is warranted. You can't use your word games and keep wiggling out of this until forevermore. We have to get to a point where we could talk about this. We all know that it's wrong. You can't keep hiding from it. You can't keep running from it. It's got to come to an end sometime. Jesus.
Harmful, on the contrary.
We cannot just qualify the dignity with a radical secular paradigm. The human rights involve also the freedom of faith. The circumcision is a part of a religion, identity, and education.
Over the past year, Jews and Muslims have denounced the legal...
That's just so mind-blowing. It's hard to... These people say that mutilating little babies' penises is their identity. I can't wrap my head around it. And then I meet people on Twitter who say they're Jews, and they say, no, it's not part of our identity. I don't get it. And YouTube, I'm doing a research video for an article, okay? The biggest, this is a historical video, okay? 10-year anniversary is coming up. There was a court in Germany who ruled that circumcision is bodily harm. They're trying to squirm their way out of it.
Decisions on religious ritual circumcision, and have promised a joint public relations campaign to prevent both intentional and unintentional harm to freedom of religion in Germany.
We have a perspective in the future.
What are you talking about? Harm? It's harm is like harming a person's body. Your freedom of religious rights are being debated to the extent of your proclaimed rights that you want to take them. You are taking them way past your rights. You are infringing upon another person's body. You're breaking their physical integrity. So, what are you talking about? You're getting your pride hurt is what you're talking about. And you're trying to make the debate about that.
work together with the Jewish people in Germany, because these are the same rituals in our religions. So the circumcision is the same ritual at the Jewish religion and the Islam.
How do we bring them together? I think it would be nicer if we would find common ground on something positive, and not because we are being attacked.
The Jews need help, they call upon the Muslims. See how that works? You see how that works?
Many in the Jewish and Muslim communities in Germany say a positive outcome has emerged from the circumcision debate. After years of hostility, it has brought the two communities closer together. This is Wilson Ruiz for Jewish News One at the Central Mosque in Frankfurt, Germany.
Wow. This just got me fired up. Jewish News One. Give me a break. Oh my God, this material. Machine that rolled out after this Cologne ruling. Look at these videos. Oh my God. They're holding down this baby so he can't fight. If this was a man, this would be a crime. You can't hold down somebody and cut apart something off of their body. Oh my God. Okay, let's look up. I know Dr. Frisch was a part of it. Dr. Frisch. Circumcision. I wonder if he talks about I know he's done a lot of work on that, and where's the videos? I've seen lots of videos about him talking about it. He worked on the case. Okay, after Cologne, this is what we found out. Male circumcision and the law, parental right, religious liberty, or criminal assault. It's written by Reinhard Markel. I'm looking for the one where Dr. Frisch wow, they're censoring him. They're getting him the hell out. You can't find anything on him anymore, I don't think. Let's see what this says. Non-therapeutic circumcision violates boys' rights to bodily integrity as well as self-determination. There is neither any verifiable medical advantage connected with the intervention, nor is it painless nor without significant risks. Possible negative consequences for psychosexual development of circumcised boys due to substantial loss of highly erogenous tissue have not yet been sufficiently explored, but appear to ensue in a significant number of cases. According to standard legal criteria, these considerations would normally entail that operation be deemed an impermissible risk, neither justifiable on grounds of parental rights nor of religious liberty, as with any other freedom right. These end where another person's body begins. Nevertheless, after a resounding decision by a Cologne district court that non-therapeutic circumcision constitutes bodily assault, the German legislature responded by enacting a new statute expressly designed to permit male circumcision even outside of medical settings. Wow. We first criticize the normative foundations upon which such a legal concession seems to rest, and then analyze two major flaws in new German law, which we consider emblematic of the difficulty that any legal attempt to protect medically irrelevant genital cutting is bound to face. Jesus. They came up against the Abrahamists. That's what happened. These people are basically saying they ran into a buzzsaw. That's insane. Crazy. Let's watch his video on Dr. Frisch.
I am Morten Frisch, doctor in Copenhagen, Denmark. I have been conducting a study on the sexual consequences of male circumcision in Danish men and in their partners. What prompted me was the lack of scientific evidence linking sexual behaviors, sexual satisfaction, sexual functioning to the foreskin status of the penis, which was surprising to me, giving the very natural idea that it could affect sexual functioning. And after having considered for a while how to do this, I contacted colleagues in Copenhagen who conduct a survey every around 4 or 5 years, and asked them please to include a question about circumcision status of the man himself, and for the women also a question about the circumcision status of their spouse. And they were willing to do that, and also included a number of questions about sexual behavior and sexual troubles of various kinds.
What did your study find?
It's important to stress here that most circumcised men and most women with circumcised spouses do not encounter a whole lot of sexual trouble. That I want to stress to avoid stigmatization. But also, having said that, it's important to notice that there were differences between the circumcised men and the uncircumcised men, in that the circumcised men reported orgasm difficulties much more frequently than the uncircumcised men. And more strikingly, and probably also more surprisingly to most, women with circumcised spouses reported considerably more sexual trouble and considerably less sexual needs fulfillment than women with uncircumcised spouses. For the women as for the men, they reported orgasm difficulties reaching orgasm, or even inability to reach orgasm, 2.5 times more often than women with uncircumcised spouses. and they reported painful intercourse much more often than women with uncircumcised spouses. One particularly interesting feature about this study was that it came out only after considerable struggle of getting it out. Prior to this study, I and my colleagues had published 3 papers on various aspects of sexual dysfunctions and sexual trouble in Denmark, looking at the socioeconomic correlates of sexual dysfunctions and the health correlates of sexual dysfunction, and also the lifestyle factors influencing sexual dysfunction. And all these papers had absolutely no difficulty in getting out. And they were published in the 2 most prominent sexual medicine journals. All 3 papers came out in US journals. But the 4th paper here, including one more variable, namely circumcision, had all the kind of...
I didn't mean to shut you off. This phone.
All the troubles that you could imagine. I did expect it, but I didn't expect it to be so harsh. The criticism, the way this paper was judged in the review process was absolutely without precedent for me. I never ever had a scientific review that was so vicious and so indecent. And accusing of racism and dishonesty and all sorts of things were told to us that in order to have the editors reject the paper. It was a kind of obstruction, simply to avoid this paper from coming out. Usually in a scientific review process, you are you're getting responses back from qualified colleagues around the world who know about the topic of relevance here, and usually get a few hundred words of comments and constructive criticisms so as to make your study better and your publication even stronger. But what I faced here was a completely extreme review. You should remember that the paper here that came out was a full 15 pages long article in a scientific journal. It's pretty dull and long and heavy to come through, so I don't want anybody to read it unless they're very interested. But 15 pages. But in this review that came back to me after the first round of review, the reviewer had actually so many comments that it took up the space of 2.5 times that amount of space that I had used in my own paper, which is completely unusual and really shows a very strong and emotional setup of the reviewers. So this had to be stopped, and all thinkable arguments were used to pull our study apart, even though it had previously been published, or the same data had been used for 3 previous publications with no serious comments whatsoever. But adding circumcision to the variable list made the whole difference, and everything was worthless according to this reviewer. So that's a study in how sensitive things can be in science.
Cowards.
And that really...
They're cut
That's
men.
still
the reviewers are cut men.
Surprise to me that you can be so one-eyed that you under pretending that you put up a scientific view on things, that you're all doing is promoting your political agenda. Sexual health and sexual trouble is one of my research interests, and I really want to pursue further research in this area. There is, however, one major limitation here, and that is funding opportunities for research in these matters are extremely limited. I have had no great trouble in getting support for my cancer, my autoimmune disease research over the years. However, getting support for things that have to do with with sexual health is extremely difficult, even in a country like mine, which is relatively relaxed in sexual matters. It's just not easy to convince any funding body that this is worthwhile doing. So I would like to have a couple of PhD students to carry out further research on this and supervise them on that. My time limits really are do not permit me to be as productive as I would ideally like to be in this area, and I would. But ideally, yes, I will continue, but at a pace that is technically possible and as economically possible, because all the studies that have come out so far on this have been without funding. It's a kind of more a project. And why is that so important? I cannot say anything, but it's important because human sexuality is essential part of our lives.
Damn. It's crazy. Shut it down. That's crazy. Come on, phone. Jeez. Dr. Frisch, censorship. I don't want no cookies. Hey, yeah, jeez. Alright. I'm gonna try to write a little bit. 2012 circumcision. Circumcision, High Court ruling. What is this? Germany Regional Court ruling criminalizes circumcision of young boys. This is dated July 3rd, 2012. According to it, of young boys is a criminal act prohibited by law, even if parents have consented to the procedure. The decision is grounded on reasoning that such circumcisions cause illegal bodily harm to the children and that the child's right to physical integrity supersedes parents' rights and the freedom of religion. Wow. What's this reference here? The case involved the circumcision of a 4-year-old. Oh, okay. I get it. The newborns are fine. They're too small to, like, for you to feel anything for them as an individual or as a person. Okay. So all the hubbub was over an older child. So the case involved the circumcision of a 4-year-old Muslim boy that was performed by a doctor at the parents' request. However, complications occurred with the operation that resulted in the Cologne public prosecutor bringing suit against the doctor. The district court, hearing the case in the first instance, acquitted the doctor on the grounds that there was parental consent and that he had performed the procedure as a ritual act based on Islam. The Cologne Regional Court upheld the lower court's ruling, but on different grounds: that the doctor had believed he would be acting lawfully in the context of an unclear legal situation surrounding the practice, while the court held that religious circumcisions in fact are to be deemed illegal because they violate the child's right to physical integrity and self-determination. It differentiated such acts from instances when a circumcision is medically necessary. Judgments of the local district court and the Cologne Regional Court on the criminalization of circumcision of none. That's okay. Let's see this judgment. I do a translation. What? Docket AZ 151. Potential impact of the ruling. According to the press reports, although the judgment is local, it could set a legal precedence that courts in Germany, other 15 states, would have to follow. And so an effort to reverse the decision might go all the way to federal constitutional court, the country's supreme constitutional court. According to criminal law expert professor Home Putsky, although the decision is not binding on other courts, it's likely to have a signaling effect. The ruling has reportedly raised the ire of Jewish and Islamic groups who have criticized it as infringing upon the right to freedom of religion. You, instead of say right to freedom of religion, say what it really is. They're being criticized that us criticizing them is infringing upon them being able to freely mutilate their children without being harassed or verbally spoken to. You can't even speak to them. You can't even speak to them. Hey, this is not right. Oh, whoa. They come back. Oh, whoa. You are a bigot, sir. How dare you speak to me? Basically, that's like their attitude. Like, the world bows down to these, like, fuzzy, sideburn, little, They tricked my mom. They tricked parents and doctors for 100 some odd years ago. They had influence on Kellogg. Kellogg had his puritanical roots, but before the Puritans came, we had Abraham, and so I'm not going to sit here and put like a lot of people do. Oh, American circumcision came from the Kellogg. That was it. He had everything to do with it. No. he didn't get the idea from his own imagination. I can guarantee you that. There was a book that he found very important in his life, and in that book is a place called Genesis 17, and a revered prophet named Abraham, which spawned the Jewish people. And we just watched a video of the rabbis and the Muslim guy said it's part of their identity. It's part of their identity to mutilate children. Who identifies with that? Like, to me, okay. I know why they're brainwashed. You know, I can't really blame them. You know, I could show you guys. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This is why people are brainwashed and we're up against a beast, because this guy is a famous Messianic Jew. All right. They're about to perform an ancient evil ritual. It's gotta get the rituals and the build up, the singing, the music, the chants, the prayers. These are all build-ups to an atrocity. Whenever you ritualize an atrocity and force people to go against their natural reactions to either flee the atrocity, fight back against the atrocity, or freeze. This is what's going on. You're going to see a bunch of people, because it's a ritual that's been performed many times. They get into what do you call it? A group act, or it's hard to explain, but there's going to be only one person. You're going to notice there's only one person out of the whole crowd who's not the same, who acts differently. It's the 6-year-old boy who this is probably his first time seeing this atrocity like this. It's a horrific event. It's, you know, a wartime scene, things that cause post-traumatic stress disorder, things that cause acute reactions and stress reactions. And whenever these kinds of things happen, it forces a human being into a state of dissonance. And in order to resolve the dissonance in their minds, they have to choose one of two paths. And the two paths, one is whenever you see this, you're going to see the kid. He's going to see his little brother, baby brother, being cut. Okay? And he's going to freak out. The 6-year-old is going to freak out. But whenever he looks around, he sees that everybody's in their little ritualistic, zombified, eyes glazed over, they're in the same spirit, okay? And like I said, he's in the dissonance. He's trying to figure out what's happening. He wants to fight back for his little brother. He wants to flee, but he has to. What eventually happens is he gets frozen into that the group acceptance of the atrocity, and that puts this particular event, steals a part of that little boy's individuality. It takes him off his life path and puts him on this path of the group. And the group is constantly circumcising. There's new babies born each year. Okay, I've talked a lot, but yeah, just watch this is what's happening across the whole world. All right? We all get traumatized into forming this very sick society that we're all perpetuating. We're all a bunch of narcissists with no empathy because we've been traumatized so many times from birth till now. Look what 9/11. Look what the COVID trauma that they inflicted upon us. Schools are pretty much prisons. The way they treat kids. Is it any wonder? That's all I'm saying. I can't be so mad at, the Abrahamic religious people, even though their tradition goes back further than these cucked Americans who are only doing it, who are only cutting their kids just because that's just what you do. Like, that's why they're cutting it, and it look like they think it looks like more aesthetic. Okay, but this is a new phenomenon. The Jewish Muslim, it's been a cycle that's been ingrained, brainwashed generations, and it's influencing into secular societies. All right.
Watching around, we had a kind of a quick snowstorm that stopped a lot of people, but we're glad to do this on a special night. We are here. Let's dedicate
I want
this.
to fast forward it.
Mom and Dad told us to play this game. It was like a hunt, and we looked for clues, and then at one part we had to put letters together, and it spelled out, "You are gonna have a baby brother." And I was really happy. As most of you know, if you were here the other day, I was crying, as it showed on there. And when he came, it was just amazing. And yeah.
Good. Thank you, Eliel. Thank you, guys.
Force these kids to watch their little baby brother.
Thank you, guys. Let's hear it for Eliel. But we actually recorded when we told them, when we did this little treasure hunt, and they had to put together the words, and they're putting together the words, and we recorded their reactions. You want to see it? Okay. Do you have that? Breaking the code.
Fast forward.
And your seed after you
They're doing
for all generations. This is my covenant between you and me and your seed. After you, every male shall be circumcised.
Demon possessed. They're gonna get themselves all demon
among you, every
possessed.
male throughout your generations. He that is born of your house, my covenant shall be in your flesh as an everlasting covenant. What is the meaning of this that we're doing? The circumcision is the sign
it means
of
you're
the
selling
covenant
your
that
soul.
God gave. It's a sign between God and the children of Abraham, God
an
and
evil.
Israel.
You're not letting people grow up into their own selves. You're stealing people,
from your father's house to a land
kidnapping them into your
make of you a
group.
great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing, and I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. So God made a covenant with this old man past age and his wife Sarai past age.
God.
And if God had not given his word. This is you understand? It would not exist.
Yeah, you just want to justify yourself. It says it here in the book.
Could not come into the world.
We have to do this.
God
See?
did a miracle
He's getting all
a miracle in every generation to keep them alive.
Oh my God!
And he didn't just bring up
look at his
people so they would
mannerisms.
exist, but that through them redemption would come to the world. The word of God would come through the world, to come to the world. The scriptures, the Bible came to the world. The prophets
Circumcision came to the world.
The priests were born of Abraham. The apostles were born of Abraham. Mary was born of Abraham. Messiah was born of Abraham.
Circumcision was born of Abraham.
Circumcision is saying this seed exists for the purposes of God. Whether they follow him or not, God will have his purposes accomplished. And through this seed, ultimately, God will bring forth his seed, the Messiah. That's why it all comes together. Which also would be a miraculous birth, just like
lives
the
forever.
Jewish people. Sarah could not have children.
This is not from God.
Nor could Miriam or Mary. Then all you who are born again, you are born because of these events, because of this from Abraham.
Yeah, we're
down,
born into
then,
your
of course,
sick
Messiah.
world.
And
You
so
took away our lives that we were
but
were meant to have.
Speaks of a spiritual reality. In fact, from the beginning, in Deuteronomy, God says, don't just circumcise the skin here, circumcise your heart. From there, don't be stiff-necked, circumcise your heart. And then at the end of the Torah, it speaks of the days, the last days, when the Jewish people will return to Israel, which we have witnessed. It says they will return to God, and it says, then the Lord your God will circumcise your heart, and that you will love the Lord your God.
That means he's about to kill your asses.
Mind and strength. Jeremiah said, circumcise yourself to God, your heart to God. So it's speaking of something deeper in the spirit, which is removing from our heart what has to be removed.
Deep.
And removing
so
the
deep.
flesh. And then in the new covenant scriptures, it says this, in Messiah, book of Colossians, you have been made complete. In him you are circumcised, with the circumcision performed without hands, putting off the body of the sins of the flesh, through the circumcision of Messiah, and you being dead in your sins and in the uncircumcision of your flesh, have now become alive together with him in the forgiveness of all your sins. So here, how many people have never seen a circumcision? Okay, yet you've read about it.
He's smiling.
The new birth is spoken of, if you're born again, as a circumcision of the heart, the putting away of the flesh. It's part of God's separation of Israel, so it's also a sign that you are separated to God. And also, as God says, I want my mark on this nation, so God has put his mark on you, meaning you belong to God if you're born again, and he belongs to you. And now we get ready to actually fulfill this command. And I will not be doing this myself, although he's going to have me, he's going to hold my hand at one point to do it. But now we're doing this 4,000-year-old command to this day. So I'm going to give this over right now to the one who will perform the circumcision. Afterwards, after the circumcision, I will reveal the name and give the blessing. And then I'll show you a special slide thing, and we'll close with she's just still recovering from surgery.
Watch the little boy. See the boy?
You guys don't have to run.
You hear the baby cry? Anything that makes another child react like that is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. I don't need anybody, and I don't need anything artificial in this world to convince me. That was wrong.
Mazal tov. before you.
That's crazy. They're absolutely torturing that child. Oh, now kiss him.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav, tzivanu al hamilah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the
froze
universe,
like he's limp.
who has
The baby's
sanctified
limp.
us with your commandments and commanded us regarding circumcision.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'ha'kiso b'brito shel Avraham Avinu. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, sanctified us by your commandments, commanded us to have our sons enter into the covenant of Abraham our father.
Everybody repeat after with me. Kishem shenichnas labrit ken yikanes letanach ulebrit chadasha ulechupa ulemaasim tovim
What a bunch of psychos.
uleemunah v'mashiach. Even as this child has entered into the covenant, so may he enter
You just stole.
into the study of the
You just
scriptures,
stole the kid's life.
to the wedding canopy, to a life of good deeds, and knowledge of the truth of the Messiah.
Knowledge of the truth of the Messiah.
Amen.
Amen.
What a crazy
Now,
scene.
he's already seems at peace already.
Okay,
If he
what the-
was our age, this would be a major trauma for days and a life. But he's already at peace.
Oh my God.
Now, okay.
I can't believe what.
Okay. It's time for the naming. Now, this is from the book of Luke. When it was time for Elizabeth to have her baby, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives
Okay,
heard
Lord.
that the Lord had shown her great mercy, and they shared her joy. On the 8th day, they came to circumcise the child, and they were...
These people. All right. I can't. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, hey, there's a Discord if you want to talk to me in Discord. I'm gonna put a link here. Put it in the chat in the description, okay? All right.